Here to discuss is Jason Miyares, Virginia Attorney General, who is running for re-election against Jay Jones. Mr. Attorney General, these are just de facto disqualifying comments. But the Democrats seem, at least for now, to be waiting this out, thinking this storm will pass.
Well, I don't think the storm's going to pass because this is an individual that's running to be the top prosecutor in the state of Virginia, where your job is to stop violence. And he's been advocating for violence. And to give your listeners and your watchers background, this text thread started because Jay Jones was angry that Republicans had utilized and said nice statements about a Democratic legislator that had recently passed away. And his response was that for his political opponents, he would literally piss on their own graves. And then he obviously talked about putting 2 bullets in the head of Todd Gilbert, who's a friend of mine. And then obviously saying, and he was called out at this time by Carrie Cornier, listen, this is not appropriate. And as a response, I mean, she texted him, you're talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. And he said, yes, because it's only through pain policy actually changes. What's so startling for me is I served in the House of Delegates with Jay and with Todd. He knows Jennifer. He knows Todd's children. Todd's children at the time of these text messages were 2 and 5 years old at the time. This was not hypothetical. He knew them. He knew what they look like. Think about the moral rot that occurs in a human being to say that about a man's wife and their children.
Well, imagine what else he said. I mean, imagine what he'd do as Attorney General. That's what I'm saying. I mean, target conservatives, unfair prosecutions of people who disagree on policy. He did put out an apology today and wrote in part, reading back, those words made me sick to my stomach, said he was embarrassed, ashamed, and sorry. This was a grave mistake. I'll work every day to prove to the people of Virginia I will fight for them as Attorney General. Well, apologies, you know, they are what they are. But I am stunned that the Democrats at this point, I guess they just think if he drops out, you're automatically reelected. So they're just going to take a flyer on this. But I think it also tells us that if an individual has a murder fantasy like this involving children, this individual likely has some type of mental problem. Forget a bad judgment. This is some kind of mental issue as well with them. I mean, to even write those words is a sickness.
Well, Laura, I will tell you, I have a quote in my office, in the Attorney General's office, that I see every day I walk in the office. It's from Thomas Jefferson, and it is this: I have never found a difference of opinion in politics, philosophy, or religion as cause to withdraw from a friend. And it was just a great reminder, even if I may disagree with somebody, I'm not going to lose a friendship over it. This is an individual that has a mindset that if I disagree with you, as he did with the speaker, that he fantasizes about violence against him and his own children. Really, and it's a real test of civility, because when I took this oath of office, it was saying, I'm going to be the people's protector for Republicans, Democrats, and independents. I have met with mothers that have lost a child. I've never asked what their political persuasion for a victim of a violent crime.
Mr. Attorney General, you will be reelected. The people of the great Commonwealth of Virginia, they have to see this. This is just decency. This man does not have the temperament, the judgment, or the moral standing to be the Attorney General of the great Commonwealth. Mr. Attorney General, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.